No one talks about momentum in sales. How big is momentum in the overall strategy?
Huge. You need to be learning about the customer. They need to be learning about you. I think when you're stepping into a sales job, it's like, where did you start from? Where are you now? Who are you talking to? That's the pipeline and the momentum that you're building in the book of business.
I'm going to ask you a question here. Your best sales win of your life. My next guest is an individual who's crafted a name for herself in the sales world. She was at Microsoft, now at Fortinet. We talk about the sales strategies that she uses that you can start applying and understanding. With over 23 years in tech and leadership roles at Microsoft and now Fortinet. Jaime, welcome to Tea Talks.
Hey, TJ, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me, and I appreciate you making time and inviting me.
Oh, this is awesome. I'm super excited about this conversation. We have a lot to talk about,
Yeah, we do.
A lot to touch on. We got some interesting history together as well. So I think it'll be fascinating because a lot of people that we know in common probably don't know some of the elements that we went through. So
No.
before we get into all that, a quick intro, Jaime, of what you're doing, who you are, and your background.
My name is Jaime Coley. I have been in the tech industry for 25 years. A couple different roles in that, but I'm a proud mom of 2 boys, which is my biggest accomplishment. So I'm a working mama. I'm based here in Calgary, Alberta, in Canada. But yeah, I have a big background. Starting back in 2000, I entered tech. Started a bit on the consulting side and then quickly moved into sales at a partner, which ended up at Microsoft for over a decade and had a flavor of roles from services to account executive to the partner enablement side. And then throughout the changes of Microsoft, I've landed here at Fortinet. It's a global cybersecurity company. I'm very grateful.
I want to touch on sales.
Yeah.
Like, you're a sales powerhouse. Like, you've got so much sales knowledge in your head. I just want to get it out and learn. And I think the audience is going to appreciate this as well.
So I think here's the part of sales is that you're going to be held to a number, right?
Yes.
Like you are held to bringing in revenue for the organization, whether it's in a certain area of the business or all of the business, regardless of where you are. Your job is to make money and grow as a sales individual and keep the clients happy. And, once you're in, keep it going. That's your job. So I do look at the number, but the other thing I look at is momentum. And I had this conversation with my VP in Western Canada yesterday. It's market momentum. Where did you start from, and where are you right now? And is the momentum in the right direction? So I think that's a part of the sales piece. Is like, I'm working with good humans. I'm a good human. I love what I'm doing. I like the company. I like the technology I'm selling. Like that's all amazing. And then sometimes that kind of time comes to a stop, and whether that's a decision made for you or not. But you and I have both talked, right? Like our time at Microsoft, I was sad, but you know what? It was time.
Yeah.
And now here I am, and I get to protect critical assets for Canada. And I have a job of doing that, and it could be a lot different. Do I have to sell? Yeah. Do I have to break open doors? Yes. But I have the gift of sharing knowledge and having a conversation and telling a story about what we're doing to protect energy. What are we doing to ensure oil keeps coming out of the ground? And protecting employees, because the amount of AI and cameras and safety and like anything that's technology can be broken up into. How are you protecting that, right? I gained confidence. You start to gain confidence more of a seller, but then you just show up, you're present, you listen, you understand what the customer's trying to do. Make sure you're equipped with what your company does and not just a sales pitch. But what has always helped me is like the story. Like, how have we supported and helped, and give some context to it? What's the customers like? Come with, like, it's back to basics. Have inquisitive questions to ask. But you sit and have a conversation with the customer. There's a time to present. You're going to present in front of an executive board, but you prep for that, right? But you need to hold a conversation and be open and willing to learn about different people and how they operate and what they do. And that's been a gift in this role, is the amount of people I've met and how different everybody is, but equally as amazing. It has been like incredible. Yeah.
Momentum. You touched on momentum. That's a big one. No
Mm.
one talks about momentum in sales, right? I've never heard anyone talk about, what does that momentum look like? They're always looking at one transaction. You're looking at the big picture.
I'm looking at the big picture.
Tell me more about that. How big is momentum in the overall strategy when you're looking at it?
Huge. And I think when you're stepping into a sales job or a new territory, which, I've done, it's like, where did you start from? Where are you now? What doors? Who are you talking to? What opportunities have you identified? They may not be coming to they may not be closing in the next 30 days, but that's the pipeline and the momentum that you're building in the book of business. And how much of that, is your quota or more than your quota? And the momentum of how you're continuing to progress that matters. That matters. And those things, that flywheel is going to start clicking. Because you have to be in front of the customer. You need to be learning about the customer. They need to be learning about you. You need to build that relationship. But you need to understand that your differentiators and how you're going to compete and what you do to help them. How do you help them make more money and be more secure and protected or anything that you're doing, right? So it's that momentum and the presence in the customer. Presence. We've gone from 0 presence to a ton of presence with a customer. That means something. Customers don't spend time with you just because. They have a limited time in the day too, and they have hundreds, if not thousands at some point, vendors and partners calling them, right? So they're spending time with you on purpose. So that's like pipeline, momentum, relationships. Those all mean something from a sales perspective, and those transact. They start to transact.
You touched on listening.
Yeah.
I think listening was key, and you talked about being able to have a good conversation with the customer as well. Yeah. How do you know when to draw the balance?
Oh, goodness. That's a really good question. I think you have to just be prepared with a good question or two, because there's some clients that don't want to open up. So you have to understand also, I think there's a pivot on that, on listening and talking, of when do you just need to get to know who you're working with. Kind of business is going to be on the outskirt, but get to know the person that you're dealing with. So there's that personal relationship you have to start building. And then you've had the opposite side of the coin where the person just wants to talk about business. The hard questions make you better. And if you can't answer the question, what's never hurt me in sales is when I've said, I don't have the answer to the question, but I know who can answer it for you. Can I get back to you? I've not pretended to know the answer. And my honesty has never hurt me.
A lot of people, especially when you're in roles with companies like Microsoft or Fortinet or Salesforce, or you name, Google, Amazon, Facebook, you assume that, hey, I'm the expert, so I have to have an answer. No, right? There was a term that we used to use at Microsoft, the trusted advisor.
Yeah.
Right? I took that to heart. I'm like, if I'm going to be the trusted advisor, I'm going to speak the truth.
This goes back to humanity and compassion and understanding, and like all of the things. That's
exactly it. So be a good human first, right?
Yeah, and be genuine. Be who you are.
Well, depending on who you are. There's some people out there that are probably not genuine.
Yeah.
But I would say people buy from those who they like.
They do.
Right? So be likable. Be kind. Right? And every opportunity isn't a sale. Yeah. I look at it now. I'm running my own business. I tell my clients straight up, I'm like, I'm not for everyone. This might not be for you. It's not the right approach. Appreciate you reaching out. This isn't a match, and I'd love to take your money, but the value isn't going to be there. And then you're going to hate me, and you're going to hate everything that happened. I don't want that. Yeah. I have a reputation to keep.
Yeah.
So I'd rather pass that. I'll focus on the client that actually needs me. And if things align, we work together.
Yeah. That's honest.
Yes, that's it.
That's honest, and I've met salespeople that surprise me they're in sales. But
tell me more.
It's just they're almost socially awkward, and just not. They don't seem to be charismatic, or and be able to make a joke or kind of read the. So those people have surprised me, but they've also been very successful. But their sales motion is just very different and technical, and they're backed by, a product, and their numbers hit. And, when I look back on my 25 years, and I had a coffee with an amazing leader yesterday, and she reminded me, she's like, it's talent, territory, timing. And in sales, you need to have talent, but you need to have a good territory in your timing. So those three, and when those three align, let the good times roll. Amazing. And there's people that can kind of look, and you see them like every 3 or 4 years, they're switching because they ride the tide, and they're like, you know what, my tide is going to start to go down. It's going to be a little harder. And they find the next and
Love
they've
it.
been very lucrative at that. Then there's me, who's been 10 years and then 10 years, and now I'm at Fortinet. But I pride myself on being loyal,
Yeah.
you know.
No, it's
But
amazing.
people have made like very lucrative, you know, decisions from a career perspective on that, you know, timing and territory.
And those are not easy to do either, right?
No.
Finding that wave and jumping on it at the right time and
Oh,
monetizing it, right? It's not easy. So it sounds easy in theory.
yeah. Like everybody thinks that, oh, if somebody gets a breach, you're gonna crush your quota.
Yeah.
Not it's not like that, you know. It's, you know, sometimes there is a fire sale, but it's not, you know, it's not
Yeah,
like that. And if they don't trust you, they're not calling you when something happens, let me
exactly.
tell you, you know.
Exactly.
So it's
No, excellent.
you know, talent, territory, timing. And then somebody at Microsoft who we both reported to, I really adore this individual. He was a good man. He's still there in a very high leadership perspective, but he's like, first year you learn, second year you earn, third year you thrive, fourth year
Love it.
you kind of decide.
Yeah.
And that rang true.
Yeah.
You know, my first year at Microsoft was arguably my hardest. My first year at Fortinet, hardest. Like, you're kind of kicked in the teeth, you're learning, you're kind of figuring out the new company. But I love the team, love the company. But it's like that learning motion, and you're going to start to earn and kind of find your balance, and you're going to start getting that momentum going, right? And then come year 3, you know, Mama's going to New York and buying new shoes. I don't know. We'll see
Love
what
it.
the Canadian dollar's like, and
Yeah, I don't know about New York for that matter, but yes.
yes, right?
No, you're spot on. And it's not any different than when we went to university. Year one was absolutely the hardest, right? If you think about it, it was just understanding how everything operated, what was going on. It's not that the courses got easier in year 2, 3, and 4. Year 3 and 4 were probably the hardest from a course content perspective,
Mm.
but you understood the rhythm, you understood the patterns, you knew how to do it, right?
See, and you're talking to the girl who didn't go to university. I'm like from
Oh, there you
school of
go.
hard
To
knocks. Like, it's interesting though to like think about the career. Is like I for a long time had this pressure, like maybe I need to go back to school
no,
because everybody I'm working with has an MBA or a degree in finance or something. And I went quickly from high school into a technical college and then just worked my tail off.
there you go.
And I surround myself with smart people.
That's it.
And I
I
try to,
love that.
like, you know, you would, I don't want to say attach, but you find people that you just really mesh with and you can learn from, and they're very insightful, or, you know, you create that circle, that professional circle. And I think that's one thing that Microsoft did really well for me, is like the amount of brain power we had access to
Oh
in
my
that
God.
time. Like, just phenomenal.
Unreal.
Un-
Unreal. Wow.
unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. Like,
And
just
no wonder everyone has imposter syndrome there, right? It's
like,
like, how did I get here?
you know, it's just, it was beautiful. Like,
Yeah, it
it
was
was
amazing.
beautiful. So I'm so grateful for that, you
Yeah.
know, and you know, you take that, and I took those, and now I look back and I'm like, no, I'm just as good, because I'm from the school of like, I have to do it. I learn from doing,
Absolutely.
right? And you learn from doing, and you learn fast. And it hasn't hurt me.
No, no.
And I'm okay right now, you know, and
And and I love the fact that you touched on that, Jamie, because it's a battle that I'm having right now
yeah,
with, you know, everyone else around me. I've pulled my
Mhm.
kids out of school, by the way,
Yeah,
right? So I'm homeschooling them.
yeah,
So a formal education versus learning, there's two
yeah,
different things, right? And when I started at Microsoft, I was still second year university.
oh wow,
I had no certifications. I was a lead trainer, which required an MCT or Microsoft Certified Trainer
yeah,
certification or designation. I did not have that, but they still made me the lead trainer of an organization with five. It was Vista back in, oh God, 2007. Yeah,
wow,
a team of 500. I was the lead trainer. And someone called me out on it and said, "Hey, are you MCT certified?" And I said, "No, I'm not." And the person says to me, he goes, then how are you teaching this? In my class, I literally handed him the book and I said, are you MCD certified? He goes, yes. Obviously on a different technology. I'm like, here's the book. Why don't you come up and teach and I'll sit down? And he had no answers.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the books are great. The certifications are great to give you a foundation. But I always say, someone discovered the idea and the concepts before the book was written.
Yeah.
So if you can learn it and you have experience with it, that's far more valuable than getting that certification. Yes, if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, I understand that's a different path, that's a different conversation. But if you want to be selling, understand your product, have a conversation, go. My daughter is 15, she's selling, right? Now at 15, because she's homeschooled, grade 10, she gets invited from one of the top universities to come in and sit in on a lecture.
That's amazing.
Isn't that incredible?
That's
So
incredible.
there's no high school diploma yet,
Yeah.
right? There's nothing else that's coming along, but she's getting invited because you're knocking on the right doors, you're opening up the right opportunities,
Yeah.
and then you're getting that space to share your thoughts, insights, and they're like, "Wow, this is amazing."
Like it
Wow,
gives me goosebumps. And if I can recreate that for my boys, I'm doing
amazing.
something right. Right. Like there's going to be boundaries and they like, we talk about
Sure.
respect and work and things aren't handed to you.
No,
And I've taught Titan that like things aren't just given to you.
I'm loving the conversation. I'm going to ask you a question here now.
Yeah.
Your best sales win of your life. What was that?
It was a HoloLens deal. It's still my favorite sale to date. So we worked with a partner for a major pipeline company. And, to think that this was like 7 or 8 years ago, like this is how long it was. I think it was before its time, but we took a kilometer of a half a pipeline. We ingested all of that data and we were able to funnel it through the HoloLens. So the amount of data points that were in there, we could see the integrity of a pipeline for a kilometer and a half. So where breaking points were and vibration, things of that nature, so that they could prioritize where do they need to remediate, what do they need to do from a construction perspective, and really visualize that and see that. And you could see where it was curved and heat spots. It wasn't my biggest sale, but it was my favorite because I got to sit at tables with capital projects leaders, construction leaders, because they were thinking, where else does this apply? And I just thrived and I loved that. And here's from a sales perspective that I just asked questions like, why do you do it that way today? And it was shocking. It was like, well, because it's just the way that we do it. But the error, like the percentage of error from a construction perspective or anything was like actually quite high. So it was just, I loved that project so much. I loved the partner we were working with. I was working with an amazing architect who is still one of my favorite people to this day that I would love to work with again on this. Like we just had such a good community of time working on this that it was a magic moment because it was like this little euphoric project that came to light. I wish it would have kept continuing while I was there. But that was you can see me beam about it because it was so cool. I loved being a part of that. I loved being a part of that. Yeah.
Very cool. That's got to be exciting. And to say it's about 7-8 years ago now.
I know.
Technology. And we're talking about AI now.
I know.
When people think ChatGPT is AI, they have no idea the stuff you and I've kind of been exposed to and seen and worked on.
Like we were a part of the fun, man.
Yeah.
I swear we were a part of the fun time. I think we've been a part of some of the funnest decades at Microsoft.
What's your biggest prediction? Now I'm curious. Now we'll go into the AI world.
About what AI is going to do?
Yeah, like what's going to happen with jobs, opportunities, sales roles, everything. What's your thoughts?
That's a good question. I think within the next 5, we're going to learn of where people trust it, start to trust it in pockets. Just like how people didn't trust the cloud, we're going to start to utilize it in very viable areas, right? And I think that trust will come along with some of the use cases. And it'll build trust along with like the guidelines and boundaries. And it's not going to be perfect. And we have to be okay with that. But as long as the companies and the folks that are supporting it kind of equip it to kind of continue to fine tune it, beautiful. And help people understand that they're not going to take over the world. I think there's like a lot of fear factor happening in the world right now and a lot of noise. around, robots taking over the world and we'll lose control. So I think there's a lot of work that still has to go around, like mute, focus on the benefit to human society, and like show use cases and then gain the trust that way. And where do we want to utilize it as human beings and have that feeling of everybody wants to be in control, right? So we are still in control, but let us use this to empower our society and be better and keep people healthier, keep people safe. Like you talk about the predictions. I'm a huge fan of the All In podcast. Have you ever listened to the All In podcast? Shemant. I love Shemant. I think he's like, I really love how he articulates things, but he talked about like being AI being applied when they're doing a surgery on breast cancer. And when it's not applied, like the percentage of error is actually quite high, but they still have to go back and operate in. If you think about applying data and AI to that and making that like 99.99% accurate, think of that, what that means to our healthcare system, to the workers in the healthcare system, to the human being operated on, to those. It's magnificent. So I think we just have to kind of pivot and focus on the benefit versus the fear.
Well, that's it. It's, I look at one of the examples. I was doing one of my keynotes, and this question came up, is like, is AI going to take over, and is it going to be harmful?
No.
And I went back and I said, do we have a standard kitchen knife in every house? The answer is yes.
Mm-hmm.
How many or what percentage of them are misused? Yes, there is a percentage of them that are misused, but what percentage is that?
Yeah.
Very small. I think we're going to be in a similar situation. Majority of AI that's going to be used in organizations is going to be for the right purposes. But yes, there's going to be a small fraction that's going to be misused, or even our cyber attacks are going to be powered by AI. Let's look at that perspective.
They are.
But we need AI to fight that back.
Yeah. Yeah. We need to make sure that we're smarter. But it is happening, right? And I hear this all the time, and customers joke like, "Oh, are you not talking about AI today?" And like, I'm happy to talk about AI and how we're utilizing AI to combat AI, but also keep ahead of the game for sure. Like that's a big conversation point when it comes to cybersecurity. All of these AI bots out everywhere, just continuously. It's, so it's an interesting point in time. So I think in the next 5 years, I think there's going to be like sharpened use cases where we're really going to see the value and start to trust aspects of AI. Right. And then I think it'll evolve from there. And I think we will also learn where it's not.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So
and it'll organically come. Like
it'll organically come. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we'll always have guardrails around it. Like there's going to be guardrails. We need the guardrails. Yeah. We need the guardrails. Yeah.
And I think, as we fast forward that, even you talked about, the cloud era,
Mm-hmm.
and when that was a battle.
Yeah.
And now every organization that's born is cloud first.
Yes.
And we're going to get to a point where every organization that's born is going to be AI first.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So amazing. I want to touch on the sales piece again.
Yeah.
You talked about something very important, and I didn't want to let that slip because I have opportunity to speak to this brilliant mind. So your top 3 questions to get a customer to speak.
Oh my goodness, it depends on the customer, TJ. Depends on the customer. You're not going to like that answer.
That you've used? Let's hear what's the best scenario that you've used, or the best question that closes most of your deals. Let's reframe that then.
What's the risk of not doing anything? So you're telling me your budget's been slashed. What's the risk to the business to not do anything? And what's the financial risk behind that? What's greater? And let's work back from that.
Interesting. Very interesting.
So it's, you have a risk of sometimes status quo, doing nothing or changing. Budgets are getting cut across. Like we see this. And it's interesting. We're living in a time where everybody hypes around, oh, it's a good market. It's actually a very interesting market right now. I don't think it's hot. I think people are fine tuning across the board in every industry and sector.
Yeah.
So there's like, I have that case of like, what's the cost of no change? And what does that mean to you as your business from an uptime, from a security posture perspective? So it's like, what's the cost of doing nothing is sometimes a question, or what is it that you like, what is it? What's the gap? Is there any gap that you need to know that doesn't make me like a slam dunk?
Yeah.
What is it? Just like, tell me face to face so I can address that. And it's interesting that then something comes out of it that I didn't see. It's like a blind spot, right? What's the blind spot? So when when a customer's not like reading or talking much in a room, because there's always those people that you're like, I just can't read this person.
Right.
You know, it's trying to identify those blind spots of tell me what gap is that I haven't explained to you, and tell me that face to face right now. Like, let's have a conversation. Sometimes I do that in a meeting, or I grab them aside. And a lot of times I grab them for a coffee. Help me understand the following. So it's that, it's the humanity perspective, but also realizing and challenging the customer that you can't stay status quo. So let's figure out a path to a better solution for you.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I think, you touched on budget.
Yeah.
I'm on my own now. So I do a lot of my own business, my own consulting, my own,
Yeah.
leadership development. And every client I've talked to, and I can say every single one of them to this day, not one of them says, I have budget, TJ, take my money.
Yeah. No.
It's always, don't have budget, we don't have this, but you have to find them and justify
Yeah.
that the cause that they're working on is far greater than the budget
Yeah.
that's allocated.
Yeah.
Right. And that's, I think, the biggest thing that I've found personally, to transform my business.
Yeah. And I can do more for less for you. And let me articulate that plan with you. Yeah. And what that more means to you, and giving you people back, like your people time back, because people are burned out.
Yeah.
So it's really understanding. I think we don't have budget is a really kind of easy response for customers. And that's a signal, like, you got to rebuild, you got to build some relationship there, because there's a lot of resistance, and educate and start to find your slots in and your champions, and know who you're always going to have a blocker. Know who that is, and then who trumps it.
No, I love that. I love that. I love all that aspects of that, and the way you kind of articulated it. And I love the answer of it depends as well, because that was the common answer we had at Microsoft for almost everything. So anyone that's Microsoft watching this.
Oh, and you know what's funny? Sitting in my chair now is like when we're going into a meeting and say we have to architect something. I'm like, do not say to the customer, it depends. Ask a question so we can be specific. Like, what clear? And then so I find myself standing there saying, help me understand the following of the why, or the outcome that, like, you're here today. What's the outcome you need to get to? And let's reverse engineer that. Like, let's have that conversation before I start talking about the how. And I think that's where, you talk about, like, personality, and it's been interesting because I do have like a high expectation on myself of how I perform. And what's been hard for me is, like, not everybody has that expectation of themselves. So coming into a new company like Fortinet, I've had to explain, like, I have high expectations on myself, and this is how I operate. Is that okay with you as we're working together? Like, are you good with that? This is kind of what I expect when we're kind of doing our rhythm, when we're working as a team. Because I'm like, I don't win alone. TJ, I don't win alone. I've never won a deal by myself.
No, not at this scale, right?
No, I've never won a deal by myself. I win as a team, and I win with the group of people behind me and surrounding me. And I get to work on that. So you need your forces. And so it's creating that too, that I'm not a lone soldier. I may have to lead and orchestrate, like I lead and I orchestrate and keep the positivity going, even when you're hitting a head against the wall, because you do that in sales all the time. But it's being clear on expectations too. Right? Like, let's be clear on what we expect from each other, so that we're not talking behind each other. We're going to do this and we're going to win. We're either going to win together, or we're going to lose together, and that lose together is going to relearn together. We learn, we're going to keep going. That's my ramble, TJ.
I love it. I love every aspect of it, and this is why I brought you on. I wanted to understand that,
the mind,
the mind, and your structure behind, and the psychology behind how you operate, Jamie. It's a breath of fresh air, right? Because I see a lot of sellers are compared to, the used car sales.
Yeah,
and it's not right. There's a bad name for a lot of sellers in the industry, but if you do it from a place of kindness and care, and you're actually trying to help someone's business, that becomes absolutely essential. It becomes absolutely critical in all that we do and how we deliver at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right. So loved our conversation. I'm going to switch up gears for our rapid fire segment.
Okay.
Rules are very simple. I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
First thing that comes to mind, you're going to give me the answer. Don't overthink it. Don't overdo it.
Yeah.
Let me know if you're ready.
Okay. Hit me.
All right. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
First thing you check in the morning?
First thing I check in the morning. Ooh, my baby monitor for my 3-year-old. I love seeing him breathe. I know that's
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Just seeing their belly go up.
I do. I look at the baby monitor.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. One word to describe your time at Microsoft.
Epic.
Okay. Most overused buzzword in tech.
There's 2.
Okay.
Trusted advisor in my role. Let me be your trusted advisor.
Yeah. And what's the other one?
AI.
Yeah. Now especially. Yeah.
Like AI is such a broad term. You can't.
It's
like
for everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me what you do in AI. That's a big question. Not simple.
Well, they think AI is like this one thing that does everything. And it's like, no, it's very specific. It's, that's a whole other episode.
That's a whole, sorry. Yeah, trusted advisor and AI.
Yeah. If you weren't in tech, where would you be?
Writing and cooking.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And not working out? I know that's
Oh, yeah. I would be a lifestyle writer, probably. I always wanted to publish a book. I wanted to be like the Jillian Michaels back before Jillian Michaels was a thing. So I would be like cooking and writing and working out and like taking recipes and making them healthy. And like I do that on myself anyways. So that is what I would be doing and writing about it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Love that. That. Not what I thought, but okay.
What did you think?
Well, I would have thought it would have been working out and, and maybe just being a gym fanatic coach in terms of just being there 24/7. So
yeah, no, I love that. I love that, TJ. But that's my me time, man.
That's cool.
I take some people to the gym, but yeah.
Awesome. Jamie, this has been a phenomenal conversation. Listen, thank you very much. I know it's been long overdue. Thank you for everything you are. You're an incredible human being. And I hope our guests got to learn and take away a lot of things from this conversation.
Thank you.
So thank you
again. Thanks, TJ. Thanks for having me. I really, really appreciate you.